see. We're live, Mr. Wade. Good night, Belizeans at home and abroad. This is the Belizean Affairs Show number 233 for Monday, 23rd of December, 2024. My name is Leonard Brackett, and I'm just introducing the show that we have our regular chairman for tonight that is not available yet. So Mr. Wade going to hold over that position as chairman until the regular chairman comes in. So I'm going to do the prayer and the reading. Is that all right, Mr. Wade?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do the prayer and the reading,
Yes, sir.
and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Wade. I'll just bow my head and do a short prayer. Divine loving Father, once again we come before thy presence, asking that thou would continue to have mercy upon us, that thou would continue to guide and protect us, give us wisdom, knowledge, understanding, health, courage, perseverance, and fortitude, loving Father, so that whatever words we speak may bring some positive effect to the well-being of our people and country of Belize. We pray that thou mayest continue to bless our family members, friends and loved ones, wheresoever they are. You know them by name and number. Please continue to abide with them as well. Please bless our country of Belize, its people and leadership, and please bless this country of the United States, its people and its leadership, and the rest of humanity, especially those people who are in harm's way, who are being hurt, those who are in tornadoes, those who are in hurricane, earthquakes, wars, rumors of wars. Loving Father, please be merciful unto us and give us a little reprieve from all this madness that's going on throughout the world. We ask these mercies in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I'll go ahead and do a
We're reading
short
there.
reading for,
Mm.
I won't pick anything specific, I'll just do Chronicles, Chronicles chapter 32. After these things, and the establishment thereof, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came and entered into Judah, uh, encamped against the forces, encamped against the first city, and thought to win them for himself. And when he saw that Sennacherib was come, and that he was pro- proposed to fight against Jerusalem, he looked, he took counsel with his princes and his mighty men to stop the waters of the fountains which were without the city, or outside of the city basically. And they did help him to get victorious. That is our reading for tonight. I'll turn it over back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome, sir.
Leonard, for that prayer and that reading.
You're
Uh,
welcome, Mr. Wade.
like you rightfully says, we are with the chairman for tonight, Mr. Gregory Brackett. He's in the back, queuing up some things to present to us and the nation and the world, as he always does. We thank him dearly to be able to do that for us.
Sure.
Um, it's always a pleasure, Leonard, to sit in your company. And then we're here in the
The pleasure is mine
holiday
too, Mr.
season
Wade.
there, Leonard, ready for,
Yes,
getting
sir.
ready for the Christmas holiday. We wish our viewers and listeners, our people, both at home and abroad, Leonard, through our medium,
Yes, sir.
our 233 edition of Belizean Affairs show caught us on a Monday. 23rd, 2 more days before Christmas.
Yes, sir.
So, through this medium from us to the world, to our Belizean people, both at home and abroad, happy 25th and Merry Christmas in advance to all, one and all. May 2025 brings you all the things that you had wanted in 2024 and you didn't get it. We pray that 2025 bring you all that you was waiting for, wanted, and look forward to.
Mr.
And
Chairman,
yes,
can I say something?
yes, Leonard, go ahead.
Uh, I'm gonna complain ahead of time because I know I'm not gonna get what my wishes are. My wishes are that we get a government in our country that governs on behalf of the people rather than the way it's being done now by both mass party, and that is not in the cards for us to have. So I'm gonna start feel disappointed from now moving forward. That my wishes, all I wanted for Christmas or there beyond was to have a better government that takes care of our country and people. But I wanted to make mention of a little something that I was talking with our chief engineer and chairman for tonight. And I see him in the background already. I'm not sure if he's ready to come on. But I just wanted to say quickly that we're looking forward to Wednesday night when it's going to be your chairmanship. And of course, it's going to be Christmas night. So if we do a program, the idea is that we're going to do a musical program mostly with some
That's
Christmas
good.
music, just to change the
Dynamics.
yes sir, uh,
Yes.
and lighten up a little bit before we end the year in our review, because I guess that review is going to be hot. And so as for the Christmas gift, our Christmas gift is going to be that we want to lighten up a little bit and hopefully,
Yes, yes,
you know,
yes. I'm with
get
you.
get ready for the next year because the next year we're going to be. If we thought we had a tough year this year, I'm surmising and believing that the next year is going to be probably 5 times worse. So I'm gearing up myself. I'm tightening up
Yeah.
my belt, hauling up my pants. I don't know if I have to haul my socks over my pants foot so I could, so the pants foot not getting out of the way. But I know we are in the some serious. But anyhow, I don't want to take away your thunder, so I just wanted to say that up front, no, as a caution and as a expression of gratitude to our Belizean people for having been there with us throughout the whole year. And so we want to finish this Christmas season at least with something like. But look forward to January 1st. It's going to be hell and thunder again. I
That's
yield
so
back, Mr.
true.
Chairman.
I'm with you, Leonard, and I saw the chairman in the back
Yeah,
there just a while.
I put him on.
Yes, so I'm getting ready
I
to
guess he
hand
wasn't
over
really ready.
whenever he
Yeah,
appears.
yeah. Let me see if
Yes, so
Greg.
I'll
You
I'll
say
I'll hand the show right
Mr.
straight
Brackett,
back.
good night, guys. I'm working
Yes,
on
yes.
something. That
okay,
is
okay. Go
why
ahead, go ahead.
I didn't add
You're gonna come on when you're
myself.
ready, right? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, he's as you said he was working on something in the background there, so he wasn't really ready to come on. You can. I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard. My people, for all those who had traveled with us from show number one up to 233, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
From the heart.
From the heart. Oh, yes. And like I say, may 2025 bring joy and peace and all the things that you had wanted in 2024 that you didn't get. So, again, thank you from the bottom of the heart. Leonard, there's a lot of things going on, it's all public knowledge, we see the behavior of the governing party right now, the People's United Party, the way they calling giving away goodies to the Belizean people in terms of tax breaks for 4 days, 22nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I think. 25th. 4 days. That's
Mr. Chairman, they don't give us those 4 days of tax break. The merchants will get to keep those money because the merchants will still be trying to collect it from the people if you want to get
yes.
their goods. Otherwise, they're not sell it to you on that particular day. You have to come back, come back one of the other days, and when they
Yeah.
get. But the bottom line is that the merchants have been stealing our GST, and for over a year now, we've been telling our government to please go and collect our GST that these merchants take from us, and doesn't turn in all of it to the government. We want the government to do its job. That's all we're asking for, so that we can derive the benefit as the government, or as I mean, as the people of the country, because that's why we have a government, or should have a government. But I'll yield back, Mr. Chairman.
These thank you. So true on that, Leonard. I see the same things too, this is all gimmick, my people. It's all a gimmick to let you believe that good things that happen. They already work out and deal with the merchants, and they know how they will carry that out for the 4 days. And it's all about from the time immemorial. That's how they do it with the merchants. They tie in with the merchants, and we see it happen when COVID. All the
Merchants
little
will give them
food that they were
2 days.
giving away and thing, they tie in with the merchant, and they
Mm.
let the people think that they're doing a very good thing when in fact they're robbing from the taxpayers,
But
right?
then they give us 4 days, sir, and then they're gonna turn around and take the other 368 days for
Yeah,
themselves.
exactly.
Bunch of jackals.
I I appeal here now. I would like to know what taxes has been taken from the gas tax. I think we deserve to know how much taxes the government collect. You never hear. I had never hear about the money the government collect from gas, from petrol, from fuel, right? I never. I would, through our medium, Belizean Affairs Show number 233, I ask, appeal to the Brazilian administration, tell the Belizean people how much you collect from the sale of gas, the taxes from gas, right?
Mr. Chairman, on that gas point, the question was asked of the Prime Minister before, especially as regards to why is the gas so high, why doesn't he reduce it? And his stipulation was that the money that he's getting off of the gas is what he's running the country on.
Yeah.
Slick
See,
answer, right? He not
yeah,
tell the people them that he have gas stations, therefore he don't want to reduce
yeah.
things then where he get the profit where he get from the gas station. Because he could have reduced his profit 5%, at least as a Christmas gift to the people where they making get millions of dollars off of we back. But you not tell the people them that. You know what? I know that. Are you back again?
And
So
the
sorry, I think I
no,
started
you're
again.
right, right. So true on that. And the Bolido money, my people. Your
Where is it?
Bolido money. I get election is coming. Election is coming, but
This
you
people.
hear them in the house say the government have a lot of money, say a lot of money from the Bolido sale. Lots
Mm-hmm.
of money, so the country don't have to worry about nothing. The hospitals, jobs, and medication, and schools, and everything is good because the government have lots of money from the sale of the Bolido, right? It says publicly in the house, in our house, said publicly,
Uh-huh.
right? So you decide on that. Are they telling the truth?
They
That's
never
that's
do.
that's my
They
point.
never do.
You see the port war, where the UP government and the prime minister have us, right? How they use our patrimony to do their bid and to do what they do, right?
He's
See,
already, Mr. Chairman, he's already given us notice that the big container company will be recruited to come and help
taking over the
with our
port.
port. And I think after that, they will end up doing it just as well too.
And
Somebody gonna get suborned behind the scene.
yeah, another drug plane land. And of course, not a month ago there was one down south, and this one again is down south. And as always, nothing was found and nobody was found in the area. right? That's the line item. That's the quick do. That's right there already. No one was found in the area and nothing was found. Back to you. I will not continue more, Mr. Chairman. Back to you.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, sir.
Good night to the people at home and abroad. Thanking you for tuning in to this, our 233rd episode of Belizean Affairs as we are nearing the end of the year. Gentlemen, tonight I want to go to the disturbing news of accidents that keep happening on our highway, especially during this holiday season. But that is not why tonight I want to specifically talk about this topic. Is because I have said on many of platforms that we shared that past and present government has failed at external, internal, and domestic policies. And because of their failure, they always want to point the finger at the Belizean citizen. So tonight to start the show, let's go to the first step.
We have been observing all the demand from the public to increase enforcement. And so what we've opted to do is the strategy that we will now be employing when it comes to enforcement will be that we will be taking persons directly to court. We have found that when we issue traffic violation tickets, persons believe that they don't have to pay these violation tickets, and so in addition to the issuance of the violation tickets, we will be taking persons directly to court. That is not to say that we won't be issuing traffic violation tickets, because we will be, but we will have a percentage of the offenses that we encounter that we will be issuing summons for those offenses. We launched our enforcement operation last week, actually. We started in the northern districts, primarily focusing on Corozal, because we do know that around this festive season, we have a lot of persons traversing over to the border, coming back over to Belize under the influence of alcohol. And so we launched the operation in that area because we recognize that that is also one of the main hotspots for road traffic collisions. But yes, we're also looking at the highway from between Bangapan and the Benqueviejo border as well. And we're also looking at the highway between Bangapan and Belize City, and certainly between Bangapan and Stan Creek District, between Danguigatong. Those are traditionally, and also based on the data, the areas that always see large numbers of road traffic collisions. And so those are the areas that we will be targeting. I wanted to underscore that with that operation alone, within less than 2 days, we have the officers who were involved with that operation. They issued over 400 traffic violation tickets just within a period of 2 days thereabout. And so that underscores the fact that there are several offenses being committed on our roadways, and the volume that we dealt with during that time is still not proportionate to the amount of offenses that were there. Because, as an example, during the operation, we had 13 officers out there for this operation, and at any given point in time, all of them were writing violation tickets. And so while they were occupied writing the violation tickets, we saw persons passing the checkpoint committing like seatbelt offenses and other offenses. So that is to show you that there's a large volume of offenses taking place on our roadways.
Now, gentlemen and people at home and abroad, I choose this topic tonight because, as I said, a lot of Belizean citizen has been dying from traffic accident. But I want to ask the question because whenever incident like this happens, we see we have past and present government who wants to point the finger at the Belizean people. Yes, we do have some Belizean people that have faults, but why would you wait until so much accidents have happened to try to enforce the law or the rule or the policy? If you said you gave out 400 tickets in such a short time, how much more you could have given out that would have saved many of lives? I go to you first, Mr. Wade.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And you could not have said it better. The laws are there, Mr. Chairman, right? They know they don't pass no kind of new law. The laws are there, but they just wasn't enforcing it, right? Um, for whatever reason, um, past and present government. But now, like you says, so much deaths, traffic accidents, especially motorcycle accidents. We saw that on a very big increase. And I say this, I go a little bit deeper. I know a lot of people purchasing these little bikes because it's economic, right, for them to go to work. In Spanish Lookout there alone, only motorcycle I say they traverse there in Spanish Lookout. Very cheap to get around in the villages and in town, in the city. Very cheap. So what you will penalize these people now because they are looking for a better way out for the high price of gas, right? So all that is good, but Mr. Man, Mr. Johnny Briseño, Prime Minister of this country, lower the price of gas, man, right? All that is good. Enforce the law. Yes, if they're up on the road and they're drunk, they shouldn't be on the road and drunk. If you're on the road, you need to have your seatbelt and there have to be speed limits and these checkpoints. And once they're properly placed and properly manned and they do the right thing, nobody will vex. Nobody, right? But take into consideration again, you have a lot of our traffic officers out there, police and traffic enforcement officers. They're doing illegal things, right? They're there hustling. We see it play out over and over till some people mark the $100 bill and later on come back and call the police and all these things need to stop, right? So yes, Mr. Man, you issue 400, more money in the government coffers, and I hope they are eligible tickets. And another thing, you guys out there, they have a thing they call discretion. Discretion. Mr. Policeman and Mr. Traffic Man, discretion. If you don't know what that means, look it up. A lot of want to fall short. So if I drive up to the traffic stop on that, I say, man, yeah, but all of a sudden you ask me for my driver's license. Everything is okay, but I don't have my driver's license. Right? I say, man, I forget it. Use your discretion. Not jump and give one man a $50 ticket where you make that in the day. Right? You make that for the day. Right? I use the discretion. But if a man pass there and he's drunk, do the right thing. Take him out that vehicle. He's not supposed to be sitting behind the wheel. There's nothing wrong with that. right? But all I'm saying is I just buy along to and a simple seatbelt. Man, you know got your seatbelt on. He comes so far to you without a accident. Tell him put your seatbelt on. Not give that person a $50 ticket, man, for the you know, maybe that person will take out the last $50 out of the bank to pay that traffic ticket. So that that kid no eat no ramen, right? So, think about that too, okay? But so sad that we had was to lose so many lives for Ono to come up with this in such a quick and the holiday time enforcement. These things should have been an year wrong thing, an everyday thing. After we the taxpayers are paying. So why they can't go out there and do their work and do the right thing? There's nothing wrong with going out on the traffic stop, or I mean, doing your job and you do a roadblock and you do the right thing. There's nobody will vex with you. Any right thinking Belizean or people where they come in this country, foreigners, they traverse. Anybody with the right thinking, when well, hey, they enforce the laws and keep the highways safe. But go one thing, man, like I say, one thing when I call discretion, use it, man, and stop the hustling and stop to do the wrong things out there. Nobody vex, so don't know if you don't do the right thing. That's on that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. I go to you, Mr. Brackett. But before I go to you, as I said, past and present government is failing at external, internal, and domestic policies. The question, sir, that you might be able to answer: why is the Belizean highway not up to international standards? And I ask the question because we have a commissioner of police who does not even know the international standards of the highway. I go to you, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you very much for that leading as regards to even the very commissioner himself, when he was caught breaking the law, he claimed that there was no rule against what he was doing. In other words, he's an exception to the law. The law doesn't apply to him because he's the head lawman. If that is not cynical, or I was tempted to use a different term or word just now, but I'll just leave it at that. If that is not cynical for the head lawman to not want to be charged for violating the law, that is that he was running on the wrong side of the road and could have gotten himself in an accident or somebody else in an accident, or somebody else could have tried to dodge him, hit him and hit somebody else, and he would have been off and running to go about his business because he's not involved in the accident. But for the fact that he claims that there was no law against what he was doing, how the hell are they going to go and arrest people out there for doing the very same thing that he was doing when he was not arrested? Why? He's too big for the laws? Are the ministers them too big to be arrested or to be stopped? Of course, they have a blue plate, right? If they're driving a government vehicle. So more likely or not, they will not be stopped and or they will be waved through. And they go on, and the driver go on with a high speed, as the Prime Minister had complained one time when he said you have to tell the driver cool it down. These people then behave in this kind of way because they think that there's no accountability as far as they are concerned. They are the government, they're going to decide who they want to prosecute or not prosecute. But as regards to the quality of the highway, which is part of another part of the same question that you posed before, the Minister of Infrastructure has been doing a lot of work recently. And kudos to him for at least attempting to, and even getting at the house and complaining about it and asking the Prime Minister to give them more money to build more houses as well and other things. But the bottom line is that the budget needs to be expanded enough to be able to accommodate upkeeping these roads. I almost lost my life when I was there for the last 3 months because we had a blowout, because the roads that we were running on going to going towards Placencia, they were in decrepit state. They had some big holes, and I mean, it was crazy, outright crazy. I don't understand how we Belize people can afford to have a vehicle under those conditions, drive their vehicle, keep up with the high maintenance for that type of damage that those vehicles suffer, and still be able to make a living and survive and succeed in life because they work for the maintaining of the vehicle that they need to get them to work and back home. So if the government was doing the right thing and stop mismanage and misspent and misapply the money, then the money could be available to do the right thing so the country could move forward. And we could have better roads, we could have better signage, and we could have better police officers who are being put on notice that if they find any play any hanky panky, that they will be dismissed from the service. But they don't fear. So they do what they want because most of the time, in fact, then if somebody pass them at high speed, they don't turn around and try to chase that person down or try to get that person to put on their lights and make that person pull that person over or try to get a ticket or something or you know. Most of the time they just go along and go ahead and pretend like it never happened, and the person is going on towards creating an accident farther down the road. It's sad, because like Mr. Wade said, they should not have had to wait till all this kind of mayhem that happened on Free Road. And I'll tell you part of what they don't want to explain. Most of the lot of drinking and drunking and so on is from the people that come to our country and they relate to our country with criminal contempt. They don't abide by the laws. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. They don't abide by the laws. And some of them could care less. They forget to remember that they have their family waiting for them at home. And they're of the belief, apparently, that nothing will happen to them until after it don't happen. And not only themselves, but a lot of other people lose their lives too. And that's very tragic. And people have to start thinking more serious about that situation. You have your family at home, you want to reach home safe, so do the other people want to reach home safe. Stop act crazy, stop drink and drive, and stop the high speed. And you overtake vehicles without proper caution. They see another vehicle coming up front, and instead of slow down and wait for another opportunity, they will push the machine, and the machine sometimes fail, and they can't get the amount of speed to get out of the way adequately enough. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett.
Can you give me another minute there, Mr. Chairman, please, on that same,
Go ahead,
road?
Mr. Go ahead, Mr. Wade.
Thank you. Another thing too, Mr. Chairman and my people and Leonard, we have a lot of foreigners in this country that does not heed to the signs. You know that you see that name yield? A lot of foreigners in this country who they give a driver's license do not understand that word, Do not understand that word, I swear. I witness it, I see it, and I stop and I watch. Right?
Mr. Wade, go out a roundabout and see what's happening. Exactly what you're saying right now.
Yes.
Over and over and over.
Now, Mr. Brisenio and your government, that's one thing you need to check on, right? And then you mentioned that people who hold a driver's license need to be educated more. Mr. Man, you have it back way. You have it back way, Mr. Prime Minister. They shouldn't have a driver's license if they don't understand. So there you have it back way. You put word in your mouth and you chew it up and you spit it out the wrong way, Mr. Man. To be able to hold a driver's license, you should to be able to hold a driver's license. You should know the rules of the road and understand English. Not that people who have one driver's license, watch the word where you say, right? No give them one driver's license, not at all if you can't talk English. Because then if you can't talk English, you don't understand the signs. And they have to sit one exam and pass these tests. You got to tell your traffic people to stop selling our Belize driver's license. Stop selling it. Stop the corruption, right? In the licensing department, in the traffic department. Too much corruption, Mr. Briceño. Okay? People who hold driver's license in this country, now you know how they get it. All they know they dish out so much money. To those persons, should those persons be on our highways, Mr. Briceño?
No.
Go back, Mr. Man, and turn around and come back again, okay? Back to you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. I would like to say in specifics and clarify to the people at home and abroad why we are having all these accidents. The main reason is because Belize highways is not up to international standards. And I can expressively say that we have our highways, which is a two-lane traffic. The government has not tried to widen the road and put or place a center divider. There's no reflectors in the middle of the road that will highlight when vehicles are coming. And also, the most important thing from stopping vehicles from overtaking, the government should have passing bays. Passing bays are the most important part of a highway, where when you reach to the open part of the highway that is wider than the narrow division parts, that is where implementation of passing bay can happen, because for a short mileage you have a two-lane and both sides of the highway where vehicles can overtake other slowly moving vehicles. Until we do this implementation, we will continue to have vast amount of traffic accident on our highway. I look when they had the Christmas parade in Belize City at the amount of highway patrol vehicle in the parade, but yet there are a lot of accidents on the highway and they are never around. It is amazing to me. I go now to hear what was said by our Prime Minister.
I think it is a start, but also a part of the presentation. I think I skipped that part. Also, it has to be education. One of the things that we were thinking about is that whenever you go and to renew your driver's license, we're thinking about having you study and take a test about road safety. Because many times people don't really, maybe don't even remember some of the traffic laws. For instance, if you're on a highway and you want to cut on your left or go to your home, if you live on the highway, for instance, or a village, most people put on your signal light and then they cross, even if there's a vehicle behind them, when what you need to do is to get off the highway, traffic passes, and when the traffic is cleared, then you turn. Simple things like that, people have forgotten. Signal when you're going to overtake, signal when you're in front to go back into your lane. We don't even ask for the speed limits. So I think also has to be an educational campaign. Enforcement can go so far, but we also have to, we as a people have to take responsibility that we all need to be looking out at not only um, um, after ourselves, but even those coming on the other side. So enforcement, education, um, and I know that we are fixing our infrastructure. And it's so ironic because you all asked me that question last week, Thursday, in York about the traffic accidents. And one of the things that I said that as the infrastructure improves, then people tend to drive faster and eventually become more reckless. So it's at the end of the day, my message was it's incumbent on us. We as a people, we have to become more conscious about the danger about the reckless behavior on our highways. In the United States, I was told that if you get into an accident on the road and you were drinking and somebody dies, they charge you, at least for murder or something like that. And so it's a very, very stiff um, charge you bring across on you. And I think we need to look at that. We can't allow people, because they're drunk, they drive and knock down people and people die and then you get more bail. Probably should not even be given bail. Like with murder that you can't get bail, maybe we should lock them up until the time comes for them to listen to their case.
Gentlemen and people at home and abroad, I'm listening to the Prime Minister who is pointing a finger. I have been many places, and anyone who drives, who holds international license knows that there is a written test given before you can acquire your driving license. I'm listening to the Prime Minister who I believe is in denial when within the government we have ministers who drive drunk, crash, and they
and,
leave the scene,
get a
and
higher
there's no charge that follow what they have done. We have ministers and commissioners
Mm-hmm.
and inspectors
Mm-hmm.
who drunk, knock down people and kill them. No charges.
And
So
they pay a fee. They pay a fee.
I
The relatives
believe
of the person that when they knocked down.
our prime minister is in
Crazy.
denial when he says you have to educate the public, because our prime minister with himself needs to be educated on our constitution, in which they keep bastardization off, especially when it comes to compulsory acquisition of private land within our constitution. I go to you, Mr. Wade.
That's so true on that, Mr. Chairman. As for the Prime Minister, he's in denial, right? That question catching off guard, and that's all he could have come up with. Very much in denial, right? He was his driver knocked down and killed somebody in Briscan village on the northern road not too long ago. His driver,
Mm-hmm.
personal driver, right? Is he in jail? He took a
Nope.
life, right? His pressman. I mean, the last UDP pressman knocked down somebody too and killed her on the
Mm-hmm.
same. Is he in jail?
Nope.
Right? So this man must watch what he says, right? When we talk about enforcement, anyway, so sad that we had was to lose so many lives, and we still have grieving families. We still have children that have lost their loved ones and father and mother and all that, and this is all this man could come up with, right? When you have a prime minister that he and his government, past and present, bastardize our constitution. What do you expect from these guys, right? And they keep being rogue, right? And afraid to pass the very same law that would keep them in check, and it's called UNCAC, right? Um, so with me, like I say, these guys, I think they will begin to act different when, God forbid, one of their family members or them, one of them, feel the wrath that other poor Belizean feels, then I think they will start to do better, right? I'm not casting any, but I'm just saying that's one of the reasons they don't act, because they haven't felt that shock in their lives. So it's not priority for them to do the right thing and to have their department enforced. You are the prime minister of this country, Mr. Man, right? You have all the right to have your department enforced. We already have these laws, Mr. Man. If you don't know, goes way back. But it's not being enforced because you fail to have them enforce it. You're part of the problem. Like I say, until some of you who have the power, who the people entrust power to do the right thing for them, for the people, until some of you start losing your lives or loved ones, then you probably will start to have a different feeling in the heart and will start to do the right thing. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. I go to you, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And very lucidly explained and stated, Mr. Wade. I'll take a little ride on your back right now, piggyback on your back, to say that even the Prime Minister himself have said that he authorized the CIB and the investigators them to not do their job, because the way they were doing their job, it took too long, 4 months, 6 months, whatever the time would have been, to complete or do their job. So he is authorizing them now to depend on the Salvadorian government's information about who is the gang member and who is not a gang member, in order for him to decide which Salvadorians he will allow to come into the country, when in fact the ones that come into the country, not at the legal entry or ports, but along the borderline at different areas that people are known to traffic in and out. The very same one that Bukele don't want in his country, he's pushing them over to Belize, because Belize is bigger than El Salvador, and Belize only have 400,000 plus people, and El Salvador have between 6 and 7 million people. So Mr. Bukele is happy to let the Prime Minister observe a couple million of his people and outnumber for we Belizeans. Not to say Guatemala have 17 million people, and our Prime Minister is telling us that he, contrary to our constitution, is going ahead and giving Guatemala legal status and citizenship, because he won't give it to the kids them, because it's not the kids them fault that the country have a problem with us. Therefore, he have violated for the constitution to do what he want to do on a personal level. That's how much of a rascal this guy is. Not only that, he goes and he go ahead and give them, like you said, the elderly, for example, they are no threat to the country according to him, the same treatment, citizenships, and all facilitation of all kind of documentation. Then get house and lot, then get farms to plant pan, while the Belizean people are being mistreated and being pushed aside and pushed down to the bottom of the barrel. Why can't he treat the Belizean people the same way he treats the foreign people them? I'm not against foreigners. I'm against mistreating our local Belizean to the exclusion and facilitation of foreigners. That is my beef. You want to facilitate the foreigners in against the constitution? Bad enough. Facilitate the one Belizeans them too. They should be given the first break because it is their patrimony. You, the government, is only put in charge for a period of time. It's not for you to actually turn the whole country upside down because you feel like. Mr. Chairman, I think with the segue out the actual focus that you started the program off on, and I just want to go
Sorry
back to
about
the
that.
issue of the traffic, right? I lived
Thank
7 long
you,
years in Guatemala,
Mr. Brackett.
and
But
my experience in Guatemala as regards to how these people drink and drive, so I didn't even drink and drive. So I didn't drink, then go to the bar, then drink, and they got a machete sling on the side, and when they go home, and they quarrel with each other, and they fight up with each other, and chop up each other. You go to the villages them right now, and the same thing they go on for we villages them in Belize. Then they chop up each other, then they shoot up each other, then they stab up each other, then they do all kind of thing with each other, and the society is becoming crazier and crazier by the day. And we police officers then they take the black people in the country and stigmatize them to the point where they can't get no police record, clean police record if you go to states or if you go anywhere, or if you go get one good job. They are being marginalized and pushed at the bottom of the barrel. So I don't want to hear no crocodile tears from with Prime Minister. Who's supposed to
Mr.
go get her?
Brackett, if I may, sir,
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
if we are having this problem with drunk drivers that is causing the deaths of Belizean citizens, to help prevent that, why don't the Prime Minister lower the taxes on gas, lower the gas price, and raise the taxes on alcohol to make it impossible
Uh,
to get cheap?
well, it wouldn't be possible, right? If I don't really want to step on the toe, but it wouldn't just be impossible. It would be just more a little more difficult. But nowadays, people will make their own rum at home. They make them spotty, which is the potato wine. They go make them cassava wine. They go make them rice wine. They go make the fruit wines. Like berries and whatever it's not. So people get drunk. In fact, people drink things that they're not supposed to take in their body just because they want to get one high. The bottom line is that the mindset of the people is such that they have no respect and regards for the laws of the country, much less the
But,
people of the country,
sir,
and that's
would
my
it
problem.
not be pleasable to the people if you lower the gas price?
Far better,
People will be
exactly.
moving around more in vehicles. If you raise the taxes on alcohol, you will get more taxes. Alcohol is one of the main things consumed by most Belizean, young and old. So you will not lose your taxes. By doing that, you will give the people a chance to be able to help the economy by transporting their products more efficiently.
Well said, sir.
People at home and abroad and gentlemen sitting with me virtually, you all are highly appreciated. I want to go back to something that I had said on one of our past platform. I had said outrightly that the government has found a new way to buy votes,
Hmm.
and using political blunder and giving tax breaks, we see how they are trying to achieve this for the present coming general election.
Hmm.
We have seen the narrative being pushed by all ministers about worldwide inflation. We have seen the narrative being pushed about the GST and how it will save people. And I look at it as a political blunder because then, if you are so interested in the cost of living and world inflation that is hurting the Belizean people, why don't you do something real appropriate about it and lower it all year round? That will drastically help the people. But
Uh,
tonight,
Mr.
as
Chairman,
we always do on Belizean Affair,
Mr.
we
Chairman,
show and tell.
before you go to the show part, can I make another sentence or statement?
Go ahead,
If
sir.
the if the Prime Minister was serious about trying to put some economic muscle into the economy of our country, he could lower the gas price 1%, 2%, 3, 4, 5%, even up to 10%, and he would still be taking in nearly as much tax, 90% of the existing tax, while giving the Belizean people a little breathing space. Why I say that is because if the gas is being sold for $10 a gallon, it costs somewhere around $5 plus or minus a few pennies to get the gas landed in Belize, paid for, and stored and distributed to the Belize population. Government take and double that price and get half of the value of gas or fuel into the government coffers. If the government was to take $1 less, you know, I kill the government, but they help the economy. They give a reprieve to the people. They have economists in their midst or around them that could give them those advice. But the people who are making the decisions are not the economists. They are not people who they take the advice from. They are politicians. And so now they want to come up with this gimmick for 4 days weekend, 2 days, 2 different weeks in a row. We give people 4 days tax free, and then for the next 368 days, then they cream people with excessive taxation. That's not the way to deal with it. And they only do this right now because the election they want to hold it before 1st of April. So then they try and ingratiate themselves with the population, make the people and give them another 5 years, then turn around and squeeze people again for another 5 years. That's how these guys are. They are a bunch of jackals, like I said. And one of these days, I'll take up my big dictionary and I'll describe what the dictionary says about these names: jackals, hyenas, vultures, vampires, things like those, right? Because some people apparently, when they use them words, if you describe these guys' conduct, they don't see the relevance. You kind of feel like those words are loaded. Of course they are loaded. And that's the reason why I use them. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett. Well said.
You're welcome, sir.
But I believe that our economy can grow. The economy start falling when the government took away the incentive from teachers who were helping the school children who in return
Sorry.
was spending to keep the small businesses afloat. That is what is happening in our country. When you do business proposals, you want to cater to the people who will buy from you. In the country, it's the small businesses and small buyers, not the big businesses, that keep the country afloat because they keep coming back and it adds up. But let me go to this tape and I will break it down for you, people at home and abroad, because I want you to see how the present government, like past government, pretends to be giving you something in the left hand, while in the right hand, they are
Yeah,
about to take it back from you 100% over.
more.
Let's listen to the first tape.
It's important to understand that this is a targeted initiative because it's, we're always talking about cost of living, we're talking about the effects of inflation. We know that inflation is something that we, we import, just like how we import goods, we import inflation.
Yes.
And this government has taken the initiative to have targeted relief efforts for the consumers, for Belizean citizens. You saw the Prime Minister announce at the State of the Nation address, he announced the increase on the threshold in the income tax. He announced that the mortgages of $100,000 and less, there would be no stamp duty on those. Those are targeted relief efforts to combat the cost of living. This is another targeted initiative. Why? Because most of the persons who are, you know, in different brackets, they have already bought their goods. They have their freights coming in. They have everything. They bought it on Amazon, whatever it is. This won't be covered by that. What this will cover are those Belizeans getting paid this week, as you said, April, because this week is payday week. That will be able to go to the stores this weekend and have a discount.
Right.
We're looking at, and this discount is important to understand that this 12.5% relief is in addition to whatever other discount the stores are offering. So if the store is already offering a 10% discount, this is a 12.5% on top of that. So you're looking at a 22.5% discount this weekend. And from the data that the tax services department has, normally on a regular weekend, the tax collected in GST is around 1.5 to 2 million. Around this time of year, Christmas time, demand is higher. It's more closer to 2.5 million. So you're looking at $5 million between the two weekends that government or the tax department really is putting into the pockets of the Belizean citizens.
Now, people at home and abroad, you hear this unbelievable speech as to how much the government is giving or doing for the people because it is Christmas time. So what happened to the rest of the years? So inflation is up and they're saying it, but they're not talking about trying to bring down cost of living, except now general election is coming and it's political blunder time.
Buying votes with
Because
the public
I
public
want to
funds.
go back, gentlemen, before I go to you and listen to what was said in the House.
This trade licensing bill under Plan Belize is just another tax on the backs of the Belizean people. A tax, Madam Speaker, that is structured in such a way that when it's casted, it will pick up everybody. This is a rape and scrape bill that is being introduced today. It is going to tax the biggest of all businesses, the medium businesses, the small businesses, but most importantly, you guys are going after the peddlers. Those people who have to struggle every day, either to sell them tarts, to sell panades, to sell tacos, to people that have to work today, Madam Speaker, so that they can eat tomorrow. If they are not able to deliver on their goods today, it means that that family will not be able to eat tomorrow. There is no consideration on behalf of this administration for the people out there, for the single mothers out there who are struggling every day to meet their needs under the hot sun, trying to get something for the family. And that libeta money we're not going after, this is criminal, Madam Speaker.
I think the member for Corozal North forgot. He was the minister for local government once. And he was also part of the many discussions that led to this same thing right now where we are today. However, what was being proposed under them would have done what he's talking about. I don't know if the member trying to paint a picture of doom and gloom or frightening the small mom and pop shop, but if you realize those small mom and pop shop footprint would never reach 600 square feet. So they will never be taxed or pay a trade license unless you are singing for the big capitalists, as you will say. Peddlers used to pay, the Trade License Act right now as we speak, member, peddlers pay $10 every day for each time they appear. This is reducing that to 0.82 cents a day if you look at it and you calculate it. Get your maths right and don't come here and try to fool the Belizean people. Let's look at Ladyville. And Ladyville is a huge, thriving village. Look at the huge supermarkets going up in those places. You don't pay a single trade license, but yet the residents of Ladyville expect that the roads are fixed, the drains are clean, and the parks are maintained.
Now, gentlemen, you heard what the Minister of Health had to say defending the tax bill. I want to say this now to you, the people at home and abroad. If you listen specifically to this tape that I'm about to play, you will hear when asked about it, how the minister shook it off, not wanting to answer about the small businesses and the peddlers, but yet conceded that they haven't come to the point as to find out how much they will be taxed, but they will figure it out. And let's remember, people at home and abroad, this tax bill had just recently passed while the government was talking about the state of the nation speech and giving out tax break to the Belizean people. Let's listen to it.
The matter of trade licenses for the rural areas is only applicable if we have 600 or more square feet of productive space.
Okay.
As it is right now within the municipalities, the Trade Licensing Act requires that businesses within the existing municipalities register. But there is, even the existing Trade Licensing Act is going to be amended within the municipalities to ensure that, it is a more fair and more equitable process for the business owners. Unfortunately, a lot of the emphasis and the misinformation was on the rural area where they were saying that all these small business establishments are going to be paying a trade license. That is absolutely not so. Very, very important.
Street or roadside vendors or micro enterprises that take place within towns and cities, do they have to get trade licenses now, sir?
As it is within the municipalities, I believe that they would have to, there would certainly be a clear criteria of, those existing businesses that would have to be, registered. I do not see, the small vendors. I mean, if you're talking, the taco stand,
Yeah.
you're talking the barbecue stand, the little rice and bean stand, something that, I know that municipalities, as it is, may have maybe a small little fee that they may levy on them. Those are all issues that, we are contemplating in the bill. We are looking at it, and definitely I can say to you that, those concerns of the general public are going to be taken into account. But it is important that these businesses be registered.
Why would these businesses be registered? One minister is saying something totally different from the other minister. And as we can see,
And they all sit in cabinet, sir.
they are telling on themselves,
Oh, man.
because they are trying to hide the fact
Bamboozle
that
the
what they
people.
are trying to do is to collect taxes from everyone. Mr. Weed, I go to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'll be short and brief. The Henry Charles guy, he understands his assignment, sitting there answering those questions, right? You hear him rumble off, have nothing to do with, they say how they address the price gouging. They address how everything just went skyrocketing. No, they try to address that, right? He talk about the 3-4 days where they went give tax break and who that guy, you know, like I say, for me, I have no respect, no regards for these guys, because what happened is that these guys is not looking out for the poor and less fortunate in this country. Not. They paint a big nice picture, yes. Big nice picture for the media and for the world to see how, oh yeah, well they make much of the grants where we get in. Oh yeah, then they pass it down and all the money with the outside entity they get in. What shower about it? They say the Pope, man, guy, you gotta be ashamed of yourself, right? Knowing damn well that is not your real intention. You're just electioneering there, right? Election is around the corner. So you understand your assignment and you're doing a good job of it. As to the retainer guy,
Bamboozling the people.
same thing, right? They cannot get their facts right. The little health minister guy, don't believe nothing these guys are saying. Because, like you say, Mr. Chairman, they all tell on themselves. And any right-thinking Belizean who are not a fanatic, see through these guys, see their intention, and see what they set out to do. But they will cover it up. Yeah, well, we don't want to do that. No, that's not so. Then, all these things will be addressed, and you never mean it this way, and you know what happened that way? Bull crap, right? Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and well said, Mr. Wade. I would just like to add a little cherry on top of the Sunday ice cream. No, they calling the ice cream where they put the ice cream and then put the banana.
Oh, by the
split
way,
and
Leonard, they say we import inflation. We import inflation. That's what. Listen to that guy. Fucking. Anyway, sorry about
these
that.
guys, all of them, ministers that you showed here just now talking, we're talking about economics. None of them have no degree in economics and or understand or know what the meaning of the word economics, much less how it is practiced and implemented.
The Henry Charles guys know about money, Leonard. He work at HRCU. He know about money. Money.
He work there as a lawyer. He's supposed to work there as a lawyer, and they get paid for the service where he's supposed to provide, but he's not showing up and performing his job, which is why a lot of people in document can't get processed. Some people are dying, and the document left with the credit union, and no other relative can retrieve their documents from the credit union because those persons have died. So none of them come with no bullcrap to me. I know the whole of the operation, the in and the out, and I know the whole of the history recorded, as a matter of fact. So when I open my mouth and talk, none of them can come back to me and try to talk about how they libel them, why they misrepresent them, or anything like that. I know the facts when I open my mouth and talk about it. So he's supposed to get paid from the credit union as a high legal officer for them, and he's getting paid while he's doing his government job and not doing them people their job. Instead, he give up the position and make somebody else go and do that job and get paid for doing that work, because he's not the only person that could get to do that job or is capable of doing that job. There are a lot of other people, a lot of other lawyers. But then one who hold on a job for him, because after he left politics, that has become for him grandstand. Okay? The credit union is becoming a big, massive entity, bigger than some banks in the country. And all he's going to be doing then is to safeguard the rest of the family's interest in that credit union. We are part of the BNE money is siphoning too. So the BNE money not goes directly to any bank, it goes directly to the credit union, which is why you see that credit union has been prospering so big. If we patrimony money that's supposed to come to the government coffers, if we local treasury, that's ending up in that credit union. But a lot of people don't know that. They don't understand what's going on. And I'll just leave that for right now because I want to go back to the original point. And the point is, Mr. Henry Charles, Mr. The gentleman from Toledo,
Ricana.
The gentleman from our usual, I think it's
Bernard.
Mr. Bernard. All these guys are speaking to economic matters and coming out in the public to try and defend the indefensible, which is the prime minister's hard and pulling for we economy and for we money and treasury to play shenanigans with. And then guys that they come out to try to lie to the public and they pretend that they know what's going on. And the prime minister ain't even got them clue in for what he to do anyhow. But they all they run to the rescue. I don't understand what the hell they talk about in the first place. Okay? Because they're not on top of the facts. They're not being leveled with. The same thing the prime minister do with them, like when Mr. Musa do with the rest of them during the G7 stuff. Hard and pull the system from behind the scene and then tell them one week a story and then run with that. And we out here, all of us supposed to be on the same level of knowledge and awareness and interest and concern. And we supposed to just swallow it and come out and tell it. The man in the talk about the economics of the country. The prime minister is the one that has pulled the financing for each department of the government and gives the subvention to each district and each village and towns and everybody else. What they are now trying to do is to keep all the money that the central government has always been taking in for themselves at central government level, and now authorize all the other little entities, such as the cities, the towns, the villages, and whatever else not they could come up with, make each of them have their own jurisdiction and the ability to be able to levy additional taxes on everybody else again. So then double dipping, triple dipping, quadruple dipping, multiple dipping, and to hell with the people. They take everybody for a ride. While the government will not be giving its subvention that they normally used to give to any of these entities because they give them all the power to make them create their own subvention. That's what's going on. Most Belizeans, they are unaware. They don't got the time or the patience or the interest or the inclination to pay attention to these things or even to understand it if they were to pay attention in the first place. Because these guys are playing fast and loose with the process. Are you back, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Brackett.
I'll take a minute or so.
Mr. Wade, he was right when he said we import inflation. When you are importing triple what you are exporting, because past and present government refuses to create any factories, what happened to the papaya industry? What happened to the sewing factory? Who owns the cement factory? Who owns Santordan? Who owns ASRBSI? We can go on, and now the BPOs are taking over. So where's our export? Past and present government at this time is not putting its force behind our industry when it comes to citrus, when it comes to farming. They are putting their force behind tourism, their bread and butter. And that is why we are importing inflation. We import more than we export. That is what is happening. I go to you, Mr. Wade.
So true on that, Mr. Chairman. It's so sad to see how these guys rumble and play around with words, um, play around for the public, and they're not addressing the root cause of the problem in this country, um, in terms of, like you says, where are the jobs that we create, right? All of them are imported and they are foreign owned, right? As they went as far as designate the BPOs as you know, as what he did the other day,
Essential
right?
service.
Right? You understand? Essential service, right? And only to cover who, Mr. Chairman? Only to cover who? It wasn't to cover the employee that they had penalized, the BPO had. No, it's to cover the asses of the executives of these BPO and these owners, right? So sad to see that kind of action, all in all, all these things that is taking place right now, there are rounds on the media and all the commercials and all these things. It's all about, electioneering and a new form of buying votes, you know, not with their money, still with the taxpayers' dollars, taxpayers' resources and stuff, it will never stop, right? We see how they use the court system. We see how they do with our constitution, right? They're beating the Belizean people with their own constitution, right? Beating them left, right, and center, right? Um, so who does that? What kind of a people do these kinds of things to their people? And then they go, Mr. Chairman and Leonard, they go publicly and say that they love their country and they love their people, right? And like you says, Mr. Chairman, what happened to the rest of the days in the year? Do the people get these tax break? you know,
No,
So my people, if you don't open your eyes and see, it's just a electioneering gimmick, right? Last Sunday there were 21 buses. With all these, some people catch on that it's just a gimmick, right? Because you see them show the Henry Child guy, make them show all the things on the shelves and all this and thing and thing. They didn't show prices, right? Because these Chinese grocers, they don't change price, right? Where they do, they change it, yes, but to higher prices, right? So all that giveaway was not a giveaway because the prices on the shelf was the same. They didn't change. So the 21 buses that went across the western border for last weekend, what do you think they went and do? Just to
Mr.
walk and no, they went to purchase
Mr. Red,
Mr. Henry Charles and Mr. Brisenio. They
Mr.
went and
Red,
purchased. Belizean money went over there.
can I,
So
can I,
your little 3-day thing didn't subscribe to them.
Mr.
21
Red,
buses.
can I add something to what you just said just now about the prices on the shelves?
Go ahead, Leonard.
I've I spent 3 months there doing the same investigation on those price gouging issues that we were speaking to for so many months before, and I went to dozens of different stores, okay, and especially the independent Chinese stores. Them, I know I call their names because I'm not ready for that part yet. But what I found them doing is the very same stuff that they had already on the display. They had the employees then going and changing back those numbers, adding, in other words, increasing the cost of those goods. The old stock, they increase the cost of the goods every week. I go and I check and I double check and I see that the prices are going up, but it's the same item that they had there from before. They don't new item when they bring out new boxes or things when they just get maybe yesterday or a week ago. I know then they replenish back the shelves. No, the items on the shelf were being repriced at the higher level. So when I talk about when Mr. Henry Charles talk about then they get 12 point something percent GST plus any little extra where the Chinese people then reduce their stuff. They not reduce, they increase their price because they want to absorb that 12% for themselves again. And the average Belizean who goes and shop, they don't have no calculator in their hand, and they're not too good in their head. They can just compute all the numbers and know exactly where you can cost them by the time they reach the cashier. When they reach the cashier, and the cashier add up all the prices of the goods there, they're much more than when they think they may have spent. So they don't have enough. So they have to left something on the counter and only take certain other things. Over and over, I see that they happen. I yield back, sir. I was
Thank
just
you.
certifying what you were saying.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett.
Another thing there, Mr. Chairman, I call on the Belizean people now to get your leaders, your representative, and tell them that you don't want, you know, they worry about that each 4 days tax break. We want, address price gouging, because it's still there, alive and well. Okay, the price gouging just keep gouging and gouging and gouging, and to the Minister of Agriculture and all of them who big up the Chinese grocers and then another one with it. You know, in the
And say
little
I
pound
read
of beans,
and
Mr.
say I
Man,
read
that
the
the
lie,
that
read the
the
lie.
poor Belizean go buy, the little pound of rice and the little pound of the beans and the rice, especially. You know what they do to it, Mr. Mai and
The
all of
flour and
them.
the sugar.
The next time I will, when I come across it, would somebody show me? I'll take it to you, Mr. Man. They add some little rock stone in there, right? So
In
so
the
it's
beans.
it's a darn
In the
shame,
beans.
that these people resort to these kinds of measures to the poor people.
And then
So when
sometimes
they leave,
they give you
poor
1 or
people
2
get home
ounces
and they
less.
open up on a rice and they start to clean it, because we talk about these are the dirty rice, when they sell pong by pong, dirty rice and dirty beans, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they throw this thing out for go cook for their loved ones, they have to take out the rock stone.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't get a pound, Mr. Mai and Mr. Brisenio. They don't get a pound, they probably get three
Couple
quarter
ounces
of a
less.
pound, okay? When they don't eliminate the stones and the dirt from the beans and the rice, Mr. Brisenio and Mr. Mai. Okay? And I say no more. Back
Thank
to you,
you,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
Wade. Let's go back to the tape about price gouging.
The government, with the help of the public officers, have been trying to police these grocery stores and trying to crack down on these renegade operators. But we have to do more of that. And we have to make an example of people so that people can understand that you are not supposed to be doing this, and people can understand that the government is fighting this, because we have not raised taxes. In fact, we've tried to put money in the hands of Belizeans. We've raised the minimum wage from $3.30 to $5, and that increase got eaten up by the high cost of goods. Now we can understand a few years ago, all of the global prices were affected by COVID and all the disruption in the shipping industry that was caused by that. But that has passed, right? And inflation is dropping across the world, and they say it's dropping here too, but we still are grappling with the high cost of goods. And so these store owners have to get the sense, and government has to do more.
Mr. Chairman, you give me a quick shot at that.
Before you do, sir, there's
Go
two
ahead,
things
sir.
I need
Go
to
ahead.
mention.
Uh-huh.
The first one is the good minister says we are not raising taxes, which is a lie, because I just played the tape to prove that. And the second thing is inflation is going down across the world and we are going down too. That's a second lie by the minister. Inflation might be going down around the world, but in Belize, it is going up, not down. Go ahead, Mr. Brackett.
I'd like to add to that, Mr. Chairman, that this gentleman is very eloquent when he's speaking down to the level of where the small man operates, or where the small man exists. He know if he talk the small man language, and where to say the small man relate to a lot. But how come this gentleman sits in cabinet as a part of a cabal that's punishing the people of our country the way they are? And he doesn't, well, I wouldn't say he doesn't, because I know sometimes he gets up and he advocates certain things, but he's not given any credence or support by the rest of his cabinet members. I recall an instance when he was advocating on behalf of the
Renters.
stevedores,
Stevedore, sir.
and he got his cabinet colleagues them pressured him to the point that he just had to cease and desist and give up the argument that he was trying to make on behalf of the stevedores. So he is a part of that cabal. He's the deputy prime minister. Don't tell me that he doesn't have a conscience. He doesn't have the ability to speak to these things. because we just saw him did, and I knew that he was capable of that down before now. But he does not
Election
push
is
the
coming.
envelope. And then he comes and he have a nice suave talk to express these things that are people's concern. What is he doing about it? Does he work against his cabinet guys them to embarrass them or to put them on the point so that they can do better? Does he pressure them in cabinet meeting? Does he advocate strenuously enough? I know there's a certain person in cabinet that wants that position that he holds, which is why they try to create mischief for him. But they all should be following what he's saying because the man is saying the truth. But he advocates that out here to us in the public. But I'm not too sure that he advocates like that in cabinet because they don't give him the space to. And all he does is go along and suborn his voters in his division to cabinet wishes. So he knows what time of the day it is. He knows what the hell is going on. But as deputy prime minister, he doesn't speak loud enough to his own prime minister as that same prime minister spoke to his previous prime minister when he was in cabinet. So he needs to take a page from that book. Talk to your prime minister in cabinet or outside of cabinet or however you need to. Give the man the sense of what's going wrong in the country. Don't make the man get away doing what's wrong in the country and then give the impression that, well, all of you guys in cabinet are supporting him. Because some of you guys were unwilling to stop him from doing the political stuff, but at least block him off temporarily. Why the hell no can't continue to put the same kind of pressure on him to make him stop doing some of the craziness the way they do right now? That's what it will take. The power of the people's vote. You guys, the people trust, we don't vote, we don't vote. Therefore, we're not supposed to jump up and speak up on their behalf and look out for their interests. And stop the call to the prime minister who is selling out the damn country lock, stock, and barrel. It's your responsibility. It's the prime minister's responsibility to do the right thing on behalf of the country, not to talk craziness about defending against the people that trying to get him to do the right thing and follow the Constitution. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett. Mr. Wade, I go to you for your comment and the closing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just hope that tonight again is another show and tell as to the type of leadership you have and what's going on in your country. And I just hope that you take away something, learn, and see these cabal of, like my good partner here, Mr. Brackett, call him a cabal of mobsters, right? And much more. But I just hope that you see these people for who they are and they do not have your interests at heart. All you're seeing right now is all about electioneering, the chairman's show and tell, right? And they get caught with their own mouth, right? And then when the pressure comes on, my people, you cannot say, well, we didn't tell you so. We never hear about it. We never hear. We told you, we tell you every time we come here, we show you, and we tell you what them people do to you and do to this country, right? And it play out every time. Every time it play out, right? So as to the good man, Mr. Cordell Hyde, he's just another player, right? He got to sing for his coffee, right? He got to sing for that, right? So, it's always a pleasure to sit in your company. And my people, an election is coming for sure. We don't know when it's going to be called, but when it comes, you will have a new entity. It's called the Belizean Justice Movement. Support them, right? And that will be your change, right? That will be your change. So if you want that change, other than the red and the blue, that change will be there on the next when the next election is called, okay? So council will never see it, I'll never hear about it, okay? On that note,
Chairman? Oh, sorry.
On that note, it's always a pleasure to sit with you guys, and thank you guys for steadfastness. And we close yet another year together. We are closing yet another year together, Greg and Leonard. You know, I
Yes,
mean,
thank you,
we
Mr. Wade.
we go way back, right? In
uh,
terms of advocating for our country and our people, right? And we are not afraid doing it. We are not afraid to do it. So at least give you one lead thanks, man. You
Mr.
know, you see them
Chairman,
three guys that they advocate for the poor and less fortunate and the things that they are doing to the poor people in this country, right? So give us one
Mr.
kudos
Chair,
for that, you know,
Mr.
and
Chairman. Oh, sorry.
have a safe and blessed holidays to one and all.
Thank you,
Back to
Mr.
you, Mr.
Wade.
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, can I take a minute for closing?
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I lose my voice and leave it, so please bear with me. Um, I want to say that the Belize governance system needs decent, law-abiding citizens to help it along. You don't have to necessarily be a Christian or too much of a moralist, but at least you have to have one little bit of ethics, which is lacking sorely in the current administration. But more so than just the ethics itself, I want to say that if our politicians really had the heart of the people or had the interest of the people at heart, they could do a hell of a lot better than they're currently doing. Without them having to give up any of the things that they are doing for themselves or their cronies. They could just improve the effort that they are putting out on behalf of the general public. And the country will
Amen
be
to
that
that.
much better off.
Amen to that.
So I'm going to drop a dime now. I don't know if everybody understand what I mean when I say that. You drop a dime on people that because you spill and beans or you spill and guts. Or you put them thing out in the public. I'm going to do that right now as regards to PUP internal issues. Just hear me say just now when I made reference to the Deputy Prime Minister that he's been having problems trying to convince some of his colleagues to get cabinet to bring out issues that address the concern of some Belizeans. And I pointed out to you that there are other people who wanted and wish to have his position. I'll just, instead of spelling it out, I'll just say it out as clear as possible. When the PUP won this last general election that they're now closing up their, their term on, Mr. Julius Espat was looking forward to the possibility of being named the Deputy Prime Minister. And so far, with hindsight now, we never seen that happen. And we have seen that as of today date that we're having this conversation here, which is very close to the next general election, he was not successful at having that office vested in him. So he's very distraught, disturbed, upset that Mr. Cordell was allowed to retain that position and act as Prime Minister in the absence of the Prime Minister, when he himself, Mr. Julius Espat, had always coveted that position in pursuit of them becoming a Prime Minister in his own, uh, in, in, you know, in his own effort. And that will continue on even after when Mr. Briceño walks away. They will have that internal pressure, and it will only get worse because in the meantime, Mr. Musa, the young Mr. Musa Karim, was projected to be the next possible leader of their party and maybe potential prime minister like his father. But he has a problem. That is that Mr. Fonseca is a senior person to him. And Mr. Fonseca has always hoped and entertained the idea of him becoming Prime Minister as well. So these guys have their own internal things going on, but they don't slay each other in the marketplace for the public to see. That's just a little dime that I dropped there because for some people that don't know and don't understand the mechanics of what goes on behind the scenes, I just volunteered that as a little Santa's gift for this Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett. With that said, good night to the people at home and abroad. We thank you for tuning in, and we hope that you will again tune in on Wednesday for Belizean Affair number 234th edition. Thank you, and good night to one and all, and season greetings to all.
About our old story, how me ancestors them get